Hey guys, welcome back again to a Teach Me Tuesday video. It's been a little while, and of course on the day that we're starting again, it's wet, cold, and dreary and raining out. But today we're going to be talking about what soils are and why they're important to us. Soil is made up of many different things, and it takes a long time for soil to form. For an inch of soil to form, it can take over 1,000 years, depending on weather and climate of the area. If you have a lot of rain, it's going to break down stuff faster and that soil is going to form faster. But if it's dry and not wet at all, it might take a little while for it to form. So when you look at soil and you think, what is soil? You might just think, it's just dirt or mud. But soil is actually made up of a lot of different things. One of the biggest things you'll see in soil is what we call its soil texture also. So you might see rocks in it. Soil might feel gritty like sand. That's because there's sand in soil. It's gonna have a coarse texture if it's like that. You might think, man, it's really muddy and shiny and slippery. That's because there's a lot of clay in soil. Or you might think, it doesn't really stand out as anything. And in that case, it's probably silt or loam. But there's all these different things that you can see inside soil. But then there's also really tiny things that you might not see. There's different things like bacteria and fungi and organic matter that go into it, or parent materials. So different things like dead leaves or dead plants that lay on the bottom of the forest floor, or when grass dies, it'll eventually break down into soil, as you know, what we see here. It might take it a little while, but eventually it'll get to that point. Now, if you dig a pit, which would be a little bit different than this here, this was piled up here, grass grew over it, and it's been dug away again. But if you dug a pit, you would see different layers going down through the pit, and those are called horizons. So that top layer is called topsoil. That's going to be where your organic matter is, or things that have just recently decayed, and it's going to be darker than the rest of the soil. It's going to be richer. That's where plants are going to thrive and they're going to grow better in that organic matter, because it helps supply nutrients to those plants to help them grow. Below them is going to be the B and C horizons, and those are going to be a little lighter colored. You might even see water sitting in some of them that'll cause some strange red and gray colors. That's called a water table, and that is where you will see the water draining through. That's one amazing thing about soils, is that it's a natural filter for water. So when it starts at the top and it goes through, that water is actually filtering through and becoming cleaner, going through that through the ground, and eventually that water might run off into another water source or a spring for people to drink from. It might water animals, and it's making that water clean for those animals or people to drink. Now you're probably thinking, well, why is soil so important? It's just dirt, or it's just mud. Well, soil does a lot of great things. It can become a structure. By taking clay out of it, you can make bricks, and by that it can make a home. It might hold water for a pond, and that makes home for fish or other aquatic animals. You might think about how it grows plants, all kinds of plants for you to eat, for animals to eat, and then once the crops are taken off, like corn or beans, it can then help break down what is left of those plants that we don't eat, that's left in the field, like corn stalks. Soil is very important for just about every aspect of life. You have to have it to build a house on, or build a road or a pond, or have any farmland or a garden. You might have a garden at your house to grow beautiful plants, but without that soil, you can never have that. And that's why it's very important for everyone to take care of the soil and make sure it stays clean and we're taking care of it. So like open dirt like this can erode away very easily with wind, especially on a hill like this. The wind will come through and it'll make it go away. Even with area that's covered with grasses can still do that. So one way to stop erosion is to have things with bigger root systems, like a tree or a cover crop that people might put in the fields, it helps to keep that field from eroding. Those plants also help slow down water runoff, so you're not having mudslides or gross water going back into streams. That grass and those plants that the soil holds helps to filter the water before it runs into a waterway. Because if dirty water or something gets into that waterway, it could kill those aquatic animals like fish or frogs or crawdads or snails or anything that could be in that water. Alright, so that's all for this Teach Me Tuesday. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you guys seen some really fun and cool things that soils could do for you. And I hope that you guys enjoy your week and have fun with this. And I can't wait to see you guys back next time for our Teach Me Tuesday. See ya!